There's a lot of work to be done in the early spring. But sometimes you got most of the work done and you're just waiting for the spring to come and the next round of seasonally dependent work to begin. So it's a good time to relax and observe nature coming back to life. When I came back from Florida in early April, it was still cold. Spring was getting a slow start. The bulbs slowly came up over the next couple weeks, and the daffodils opened. The honeyberry buds were swelling too. There was plenty of work to do. Last year's compost, black gold, was ready to go. I'd gotten a bunch of starts going in Florida and brought them back with me. I'd have to keep the rabbits away from them, though, or my hard work would be for nothing. My pepper and eggplant starts were getting too big for their flats, so I made up paper pots.
So at the beginning of every video I have the little hardcore sustainable intro, and you can hear this sound. And some people might think it's crickets, but I'm right by this pond, and so it's not crickets living in the pond, it's little frogs called spring peepers, and then there's some other ones in there that are chorus frogs, and I think there might even be some bullfrogs in there too, but there's different sounds. One that you hear mostly in the intro is spring peepers. So they'll make this call for, a couple of months at the beginning of the season. But if you sit here and listen to it, it's just like envelops you. It's like being immersed in surround sound of these tiny little frogs making this huge noise. It's pretty amazing. It's like many years ago in May, there was a hatch of cicadas, and they were making this call in the woods around here, and it just surrounded you, and it was like this undulating waves of sound, and that's kind of what it's like here with these frogs. And I think it's somehow the combination of them is what's going on with their mating ritual. It's like da, 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 da. That is a chorus frog. This pond will fill up with duckweed. It'll be floating all over the surface. It's just starting to grow. You can see some of it floating, but it'll turn the entire surface green. It's a flowering plant.
The oven made a nice temporary shelf for my tomato starts when it was too cold to risk keeping them outside overnight in the cold frame. There's nothing like a yard full of spring daffodils to brighten up a cloudy spring day and give you hope for the coming season. On the days when I was waiting for the weather to warm up for more outdoor work, I spent time washing and mending my thermal curtains. I have Roman-style thermal curtains to help insulate my house in winter and summer. They're entirely homemade. I made most of them myself. They have a special insulating fabric that gives my windows an R value of about 7 to 8. Over the years, my curtains had built up dust and the bottom panels of some had been degraded in sunlight. It took some serious effort to remove them, wash them, and sew a new section onto the bottom of those that were frayed, but it was so worth it. I didn't expect them to look like new, but they looked exactly as they had the day I first put them up. The cattail pond was covered in duckweed now, and the apple blossoms were in bloom, filling the air with a sweet spring smell. Red-winged blackbirds had returned from their winter homes.